Good morning, everybody. Pope Binary here, and today I'm going to teach you my personal trading rules and how I do it. I've mentioned these in a bunch of other videos on my channel, but today I've just collected the biggest rules that I have when I trade my money, and I'll teach you how I grow my money. It's an extensive video, but if you stick around, I'll give you an extensive review of how I grow my money. So before we jump in, here's the quote of the day. He taught me that you could make $1 million. He showed me that if you applied yourself, great things could happen. From Bruce Kovner. So without further ado, here's my trading rules. Hey guys, so here are my trading rules that I try and employ in every trade that I take, and this is how I grow my money. And so what I've done for y'all today is I've divided into three main categories: my risk management system, the market styles that I look for, and then personally what I do as a trader to ensure I can get the best results possible. So jumping right into it, here's my risk management system. Now hear me out, there's lots of exceptions to this, but in general, these are the rules that I follow, and this is how I ensure that I'm placing myself in the best position possible as a trader. So in terms of straight risk-reward management, I never buy a contract below a 3-to-1 inverse risk-reward ratio. So if you're on other binary option platforms besides Nadex, that means my payout is never below 33%. And if you're on Nadex, that means on an offer, I never get a contract below 25, and on a bid, I never get a contract above 75. And what this means is, at the best, if I win 3 trades in a row, I can lose one and still break even. Okay, but in general, you'll find I try not to settle for those 25, 75 values. I try and tilt the odds as much as I can in my favor. 30. If you've seen my other risk-reward management system, or the numbers behind Netix rather, just click on this link and it'll take you. And I describe the two numbers I look for are 35 and 65, which means I only have to be right 2 times out of 3 in order to make money. So those are the 2 numbers I really try and go off of. And so that's just my strict risk-reward management system. And so going into the specifics of like account value or whatever, I never bet more than 5% of my total account on a normal trade, if that makes sense. And what these asterisks mean by that is that obviously the rule under it, if there's a position that I'm confident on and fully sure of, where like all my indicators line up, then I go ahead and bet 3 times as much as I normally would, but never more than 10% of my total account. And these heavier trades that I place, I only place them 1 or 2 times a week. I'm currently working on a video where I show you these type trades that I bet heavier amounts of money on, because these type trades, like I said, they don't happen often, but when they do, like for example, if the market is just extremely overbought and then there's a huge bearish engulfing candle forming after like a few signals signifying that the market's going to turn directions, I go ahead and bet 3 times as much, and so on and so forth. I'm like I said, I'm making a video where I show you those type trades, so you guys can get a better idea. But generally, these heavier trades that I do, where I bet 3 times as much, what they do is they ensure that if I win them, I can cover like all the little tiny losses I have, if that makes sense. So my big wins help cover the tiny losses that I have. And so along these lines, if you're on Nadex, and a lot of binary options platforms don't offer this, but on Nadex, I always place a take profit order at max value. So what that means is if a contract reaches the max profit, right, if it gets down to $8 for a put or $92 for a bid, I take my money off the table to ensure that I get the money, because a lot of the times freak jumps can happen, especially in volatile markets. You have no idea what's going to happen. So I just take my money off the table if it hits the max profit margin. And now hear me out when I say this. I never place a stop loss order. In other binary options platforms, you don't even have this option, but on Nadex, you have options to stop the losses if the market turns against you. And in general, I do not place stop loss orders, because whenever I enter a trade on binary options, I always enter it knowing that I feel confident holding that contract to expiration, if that makes sense. I never enter a trade that I wouldn't feel confident holding it to expiration. So even if the market does suddenly like rise a little against me, if I'm bearish or whatever, I will continue to hold on to that position, because a lot of the times it's just a bullish rally and then the market will continue to plummet after. I never place a stop loss order. The only time I'll do it is if it breaks a key support line that I just know the market should not. If a market reaches a certain level that it quite frankly it just shouldn't reach, then that's the only time I'll place a stop loss order. But generally, if it gets to that level, I don't even have the option because nobody will be able to take. Nobody's willing to buy my contract for me. So that's my risk management system. The market conditions that I look for, as much as I can, I try to bet in the current direction of the market, right? The overall trend. I sometimes do bet on rallies if there's a clear reversal signal, but in general, I try as hard as I can to bet in the overall direction of the market. That's my number one rule. And for binary options, I try as hard as I can to trade off of reversal patterns, right? So what that means is I want you guys to think about the logic behind binary options. If you have binary options, you're simply gambling whether the market is going to rise or fall in the next certain amount of time. If you can guarantee that the market is truly reversing directions and that it's going to go in a certain direction, right, you're greatly improving your odds of being successful, right? Because if it's not going to go one direction, it can only go the other direction. You know what I mean? So if reversal patterns are really, really powerful for binary options, and generally when I play with real money, I always bet off reversal patterns. I never try and trade with the trend is your friend type trading. And along these lines, if the market is acting really bizarre, like there's really long wicks on every candle, the market is just extremely volatile, it doesn't have a clear direction, I do not enter trades because I've lost so much money in these type markets that I just found is while you can make a lot of money just doing out of the money contracts, and sometimes I do enter these, I just refuse to enter these trades because, like I said, I've just been burned so many times. So I look for the cleanest setups possible now. And if the setup is not clean, if I find myself making excuses for it or whatever, I just do not enter the trade. And a common misconception people have about me, right, is they think that I trade off of just simple candlestick patterns, and that's not true. I trade off of a number of factors, such as the overall market condition. I trade off of the amount of green or the amount of like green or red candles in a row signifying that the market has been overbought or oversold. I use things like Bollinger Bands to confirm whether the market is broken outside the accepted price volatility. I use a number of factors to confirm that I'm right. It's not just simple candlestick patterns that I use. While those are my go-to giveaway things, those are my go-to technical indicators. I use a number of other things, and I'm making videos where I show you the more advanced type signals that I look for. And so along these lines, like I just said, the type of reversal signals that are best occur when there has been an extended bullish or bearish run. AKA there's been a long period where it's been nothing but green candles or a period where it's been nothing but red candles. If you see a sudden reversal breakout after one of these long bullish or bearish runs, you can generally assume that at least in the next 5 minutes the market won't turn against you. So those are generally the market conditions that I look for. And so this slide is perhaps the most important slide as a trader. And you as a trader, you need to develop your own system. Don't just go off my system. I mean, you're feel free to use this system. But me personally, this is just a system I use because I don't know. When I start losing money, I lose a lot of money. And then when I start winning, I tend to win a lot of money because I'm an addictive type trader. So along these lines, if I win 5 trades in a row, I stop trading for the day because I get in that emotional high where I just think that my trades are going to win, and then I become sloppy with my trading and I start placing positions that I wouldn't normally place. So if I win 5 trades in a row, I just walk away. That's enough money for me, and I turn it off. And on the flip side, if I lose 3 trades in a row, I stop trading because losing begets losing, if that makes sense. If I start losing, I just continue to lose. There's no like I make 3 trades and then all of a sudden I go on a winning spree. That doesn't happen with me. I tend to, if I have a losing day, it's an overall losing day. I just continue to lose because I get in that psychological state where I try and make up my money and then just bad things happen. And along these lines, when I'm placing trades, I try as hard as I can to never think of the money. I simply think about whether a trade is a good trade or a bad trade, okay? If it's a bad trade, I do not enter. If it's a good trade, I do enter. And I found when I don't think about money, that's when I open my account a week later and it's grown $400. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best feeling, when you're just focused solely on the trading and not the money, and then you wake up one day and you realize you're making a bunch of money. That's the best time. Whenever I think about the money or I worry about losing the money, that's when I lose trades. And it's really hard to describe, but that's me psychologically. That's what I do. And this kind of goes along what I said in the last slide, but if something is acting strange or I feel myself just kind of sort of making excuses for trades, like two or three things aren't lining up, and there's a lot of reasons why I don't feel comfortable with the trade, I just walk away, because it's really easy to just enter the trade in hopes of making money. But like, if something's just bizarre, I don't know. You just develop a gut feeling after you've been doing thousands of trades like I have, and you just know if something just feels weird, I just try not to touch it, and you'll develop that as a trader as you begin doing stuff like this. Just keep that in mind. So this is just my system. If you've stuck around to this point, you're probably looking to develop rules for yourself. Feel free to employ what I've taught y'all in here, but a lot of the times, you as a personal trader need to develop your own system and play with demo money before you play with real money. Because, like I said, just because I tell you this doesn't mean it's gonna work, right? So this is just Pope Binary with another video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.